Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Yes, I'm a little sweaty because I just went for a walk in the park with my wife and I'm kind of covered in sweat still from being out in the sun. But I thought I would shoot a video anyways because I just sat down. Someone linked me a video that Jerry Ward did and people are saying, oh, are you and Jerry disagreeing? I don't understand. You're saying strength athletes shouldn't take their big heavy compounds to failure. He's saying failure is one of the best ways to achieve muscle growth. What's the truth? All right, guys, let's cover this briefly again. When I say don't take sets to failure, I'm talking about your big, heavy work. Anything that you're using to try to create mechanical tension, which means weight on the bar, for the purpose of building strength, for building neural efficiency, and then also stimulating hypertrophy, because you're not going to get stronger without growing. It is almost impossible. I don't care what a lot of people are arguing or whatever anecdotal examples they are using. Anytime you stimulate strength, you stimulate tissue hypertrophy with it. It may not be optimal or ideal tissue hypertrophy, but you absolutely will get bigger as you add weight to the bar and get stronger. Unavoidable. Now, that being said, I don't disagree with Jerry. When we're talking purely hypertrophy purposes, any exercise that you are trying to induce metabolic fatigue with, and remember there's more than one way to do this, a lot of powerlifters, myself included, choose to induce metabolic fatigue by doing high sets. Like I was in an accumulation phase recently to where I was doing up to 10 sets of squats, 10 sets of bench press, all for 3 rep sets back to back to back with relatively low breaks between them. And when you're taking 60 seconds between sets and you're doing relatively heavy triples and you do 10 sets, you're going to get metabolic fatigue because that's a lot of workload, a lot of volume. But when you are using lighter weights and you're not doing a lot of volume, and particularly like for a strength athlete, more of accessory work, not your big lifts, but your lighter accessory work, say your overhead press, your barbell rows, or particularly isolation exercises, if you don't want to do a lot of volume, there are absolutely benefits to taking it to failure. If you take a set of a higher rep set to failure, it's not going to give you the same beating that it's going to give your nervous system as if you're doing it with a heavy weight. You're doing a weight you can only do 3 to 6 reps with and you take it to failure, it is going to absolutely impede your recovery. But when you're doing very high reps, let's say you're doing 10 reps or more, which is generally what Jerry's talking about. I think that's the rep range he exclusively trains in. Doing one of your sets to failure, you don't need to do multiple sets to failure, just one, will induce more metabolic fatigue. And I don't think any physiologists disagree with that point. It's just it's the low rep heavy stuff we're telling you not to take to failure, for both recovery reasons, injury reasons, everything else. But if you want to take your high rep, 10 to 15 rep dumbbell presses to failure after you've done your heavier work, it has metabolic benefits and it lets you do less volume. If you don't want to come in and do 5 sets of it and you only want to do 1 to 2 sets, take that last set to muscle failure. It will induce enough metabolic fatigue to stimulate the growth you want and get the hell out of the gym. And he is right. It's kind of a trade-off of how much time you want to spend in the gym to get your metabolic fatigue. You can do it through the volume route, or you can do it through the intensity route. They both work. It's just a matter of what your preference is, what you want to do. But do not take your heavy deadlifts and your heavy squats that you are doing 6 or less reps with to muscle failure, because it's not a good thing. It will impede your recovery. It will beat you up, and it will have a higher chance of injury. But any of those accessory movements, absolutely. And do I do it myself? Yeah, I take sometimes my barbell curls, my tricep extensions, sometimes my overhead press. I'll take them to failure if I only want to do 1 to 2 sets at the end of my workout and get the hell out of the gym. And it does work. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh. Mount Bicephalus.